Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the World of Football's weekly NFL picks. This week, we're going to pick through the Week 13 slate of games. Can't believe it. Week 13. The season's just been flying by.
Yes, sir.
I am your host, Adam Snow, and with me this week is the founder of the World of Football, Randy Snow there in the Honolulu Blue, and joining us after his honeymoon abroad in Italy, Aaron Snow has decided to come back to the United States for some reason to lesser quality food. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I think my picks were better in the 2 weeks I was not on the podcast than they were on the 11 weeks I was on the podcast.
Yeah, like we're going to talk about it here in a second, but last week's picks for everybody, double-digit picks for everybody. So before we even look at the board, everybody, you did double-digit picks. So it was the best week for everybody. And as usual, somebody's going to have to be at the top. Somebody's going to be at the bottom of the board. And last week, Royce took it with a 14-2 record last week. Pretty impressive stuff there. There were 4 of us with 13-3 records, including myself, Randy, Liz, and Mike. Hawkeye 07 went 12-4. Aaron and B. Lewis went 11-5. Kyle and Leonard went 10-6. So, hey, can't be that bad when the 2 worst people went 10-6. That's still getting double digits, so that's pretty good. So, yeah. Overall, great week last week. Wasn't enough for me to catch up back to you, Aaron. Dad and I are now still neck to neck. Yep. But we'll see how this week goes. But first, we'll look at the overall standings / percentages. And despite just joining us only in the last few weeks, Royce is at the top with a 68.18 percentage. Kyle, only been around for 2 weeks, has a 66.67 percentage. And then we go through the rest of them. Hawkeye 07, followed by Mike, Leonard, B. Lewis, Liz. Aaron, you're at 58.89%, so you're almost into the 60s. And then Dad and I are right behind you at 57.78. And Cringe, who's been missing the last few weeks, is still sitting at 57.26%. So, hey, everybody's still 50%. Some of us are starting to inch back up to those almost to the 60 range, so that should be fun as the season goes along. And before we get into actual picks this week, Dad, I assume you have the disclaimer ready to go.
Why, yes, I do.
Good.
If you plan to use our predictions as a means to justify your own gambling bets, then you, my friend, are an idiot. We don't know what we're talking about, and you should never listen to us for gambling advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And can I also say, come back, Cringe. We miss you. You've been gone the last 2 weeks. Come on back and make some picks.
And we'll see if Kyle decides to send his picks in, whether the comments or text message. I don't know. We'll see if Kyle comes back. I know he's got his plate full with setting up Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast we do here on the YouTube channel. So keeps him pretty busy. But yeah, without further ado, guys, we're going to jump into the Week 13 slate of games, starting with the Thursday night game, which is the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Dallas Cowboys, a potential playoff matchup. At least right now, both teams would be in the playoffs. And Aaron, since you are returning, we're going to let you start this one off.
As much as I hate picking them, got to do it because they continue to show out. Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, I'm right there with you. The Dallas Cowboys at home is usually a for sure thing. And the Seahawks, as much as I like them, this will be a test for them to see, are they that playoff caliber team we're kind of thinking they could be? So this is a big test for the Seahawks.
So you're taking Dallas then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, if this were in Seattle, I might give Seattle a little more of an edge, but because it is in Dallas, and Seattle's got to go on the road for this one, I'm taking Dallas as well. So we'll make that our first sweep of the week.
First sweep of the week. All right, then on the Sunday slate of games starts with the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to New England to play the Patriots. I have the unfortunate pleasure of picking this game first. And to be honest with you, the Patriots have been able to hold teams to 10 points the last 2 weeks and still manage to lose, which I think is an NFL, first time that's ever happened. Back-to-back weeks, the opponent's 10 points and you still couldn't get a win. But I think the Chargers offense, Justin Herbert's going to score more than 10 points. So I think the Chargers will go in and probably win this game. I won't say handily because you never know with the Patriots what team's going to show up. So Chargers.
I agree. I'm taking the Chargers in this game. New England, I just don't know if they're going to win another game this year.
Well, I agree with you both. Chargers will win it. Yeah, that Patriots offense has just been anemic. They can't do anything the last couple of weeks. I trust that Chargers offense to come out and actually roll, despite how good the Patriots defense has been playing lately. So let's give the Chargers another win, and Brandon Staley keeps his job for one more week.
And that's 2 straight sweeps.
Yep.
All right, Dad, you get to start off with this one as our beloved Detroit Lions look to try to get back on track against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. How's this one panning out? Because I don't feel good about this one.
Well, I still believe in the Lions. I'm still drinking the blue Kool-Aid. I think that they can go down there, and if they can play like they've played the last several weeks, not the last 2 weeks, but the last several weeks before that, they should be able to go into New Orleans and come out with a win. So I'm taking the Lions to beat the Saints.
I agree. I also, like you, Adam, didn't feel too great about this one after the Thanksgiving Day fumble, how poor they played, but I think they'll right the ship against the Saints. They need to bounce back. They need to win. They need to keep that lead in the division. So I think they'll beat the Saints and get a 3-game lead in the division.
I'm not going to lie. I was teetering on taking the Saints in this game. And not just because you guys took the Lions. I've seriously just been so scared. I'm back to that old Lions fan mentality where the sky is falling and the Lions can't seem to do anything right. But Dan Campbell came out this week and did say all the panic's outside the building. It's not inside the building. So he's talking a good game. So I'm going to give the Lions the benefit of the doubt for at least one more week. I'll probably hit the panic button if they lose this one. So I will stick with Detroit because I haven't picked against them at all this year. So I will stick with Detroit for one more week and our 3rd straight sweep to start the week. All right. Then the Atlanta Falcons will travel to New York to play the Jets. Aaron, who do you got?
Man, I wanted to pick the Jets because they're at home and their defense is there, and I thought Boyle would give them a spark, but Boyle has not been good. Even back to his Lions days, we knew he wasn't good. So I'm going to take the Falcons on the road.
Man, I'm right there with you. Give me the Falcons on the road. I mean, somebody's got to win that NFC South. And right now it's looking like it might be Atlanta, might be New Orleans. Hard to say right now, but Atlanta, I don't know. Between those two dumpster fire teams, give me Atlanta.
I agree. We're going with Atlanta in that one, so it's going to be another sweep for us. 4 in a row.
4 straight sweeps. Yikes. So that brings us to the next game, which is the Cardinals traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Will we have our first disagreement? I don't know. But the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, after firing Matt Canada, had their first game of over 400 total offensive yards for the first time since hiring Matt Canada. I don't know if it was his first or second game. It was the last time they did it. So I think they're going to put up some yardage. But the Cardinals with Kyler Murray kind of scare me a little bit. I'm not going to call this a trap game, but something tells me to take the Cardinals to get a feisty road win this week and maybe break up our streaks.
Wow, you're going to take Arizona, huh? Well,
take Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just,
Well, you are wrong, son, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this game. I'm taking the Steelers.
Yep, I agree with you, Dad. Steelers will hopefully get the win. I think the Cardinals are better than the record shows now they have Kyler back, but maybe just one more week they will not win a game.
I'm just going to tell you guys right now, it's lonely being right sometimes, so we'll see how this one goes.
Mhm.
All right, the next game, the Carolina Panthers, with a brand new coach taking over, will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dad, who do you got?
Give me the Buccaneers in that one. A lot of times when you change, you get an interim coach, they'll win a game or two right off the bat, but I don't see that happening this week. Give me Tampa Bay.
So I think when McDaniels got fired, the Pat McAfee show had a stat saying that interim head coaches win their first game, like 100% of the time. It was something like that. Like every time an interim coach takes over in the middle of the season, they win their first game. I want to follow that logic this time, but I just don't know if the Panthers are as good as the Bucs. But since you went on a limb for the Cardinals, I'll take the Panthers. upset city.
Wow.
The Bucks are not that good this year. Started off hot, but they fizzled.
Hell, if there was ever a get-right game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's this week against interim coach-led Carolina Panthers team. And when the owner even comes out and says that they plan on drafting C.J. Stroud before taking Bryce Young, that whole building is just a mess from top to bottom. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers to maybe not a complete get-right game, but they're at least going to get back on the win column with this one.
We'll see.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. The Indianapolis Colts will travel to Tennessee to play the Titans, Aaron. Who do you got?
Colts on the road. I think they're one of like 3 teams to be undefeated in November. So we'll see if they carry that into December.
Yeah, that's a good stat. I think the Colts have been sneaky this year. Nobody's really talking about them other than having Anthony Richardson go down. Everybody's written them off, but here they are. They got 6 wins. They're, right there in the playoff hunt right now. And shoot, they could be right behind Jacksonville to take the AFC South. So give me the Colts this week to get a big division win.
I agree. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts in that game as well. So we have another sweep on our hands.
All right. Then the Miami Dolphins will travel to Washington to play the Commanders. Something we didn't talk about on our podcast, but the Commanders did fire their defensive coordinator this past week. I don't think it'll help them against that Mike McDaniels offense. Give me the Dolphins to roll the Commanders, probably worse than maybe the Dallas Cowboys just did. It's going to be a rough couple of weeks there in Washington.
I agree with you on the fact that Miami's going to win. I don't know if this is going to be a close game or a blowout, but give me Miami in this game.
I agree. Give me the Dolphins. Without Chase Young and Montez Sweat back there, I think Josh McDaniels finds creative ways to get Tyreek the ball and use that speed.
All right, very good. Then the Denver Broncos will travel to Houston to play the Texans. Dad, this should be an interesting game.
Yeah. I'm going with the mighty Denver Broncos in that game. Don't know why. I should be picking Houston at home, but give me Denver in that game.
Denver is pretty hot. That's who I was initially going to go with, but I mean, at some point, they've got to lose. And Houston had a tough division game last week. I think they want to bounce back on the right foot. So give me the Texans to keep their miracle season going.
Wow, didn't see that one coming. I thought for sure you're on the Denver train because right now they got the longest winning streak in the league. Is it 4 or 5 games now? Because they started 1-5.
I think it's 5. They've bounced
5
back
straight games.
big time.
Russell Wilson seems he's finally back to doing Russell Wilson things. Their head coach, what's his name? Sean Payton. Seems like he's finally got that locker room kind of where he wants it. Denver's the hot team right now, and I think they keep rolling. Give me the Broncos to win on the road. All right, and then the Cleveland Browns will travel to Los Angeles to play the Rams. Aaron, who do you got?
Taking the Rams at home. Cleveland has a good defense, but with that rookie quarterback, I think there's too many question marks there. Give me Stafford and those Rams to show out at home and try to stay in the playoff hunt.
Yep, I agree. I think as much as I like that Cleveland Browns defense, and they're probably the best defense in the league, they still allowed 29 points last week to the Broncos. And when your offense can only muster 12 points, or when your team can only get 12 points, that ain't going to help you win games. And I'm not impressed by that Cleveland offense, so I'm sticking with Matt Stafford and the Rams.
Yeah, being a Stafford fan, I'm going with the Rams also. Cleveland does have a good defense, but I'm going with the better quarterback in this game, and that would be Matthew Stafford. So another sweep.
All right. And in the game of the week between arguably the top 2 teams in the NFL right now, this very second, the San Francisco 49ers will travel to Philadelphia to play the Eagles in a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. But I think the results are going to be very, very different. I think the 49ers go into Philadelphia and get that victory they probably should have gotten against them in the NFC Championship game last year. I don't know why. I think Philly's been playing a lot of ugly, close games. And at some point you would think it's going to go the other direction. Maybe it won't. Maybe Philly will keep getting them this year because the Vikings were like 11-1 last year in one-score games. Maybe Philly will keep that trend going for them this year. But I think the Niners want a little bit of revenge, and they might want this one a little bit more than the Eagles.
Well, you could very well be right, but I'm going to go with Philadelphia in this game. This should be one whale of a game. This should be a lot of fun to watch. But because it's at home, not knowing what the weather's going to be like, I'm going to favor the Eagles by just a little bit. So I'm taking the Eagles in that game.
All right, Aaron, break the split.
I agree with you, Adam. I wanted to pick the Niners from the get-go, and you kind of summed up everything I was thinking in my head. So I think the Niners will be out for revenge. That improved pass rush can probably contain Hurts a little bit more. So give me the Niners on the road win.
Yeah, that's a factor. They're having Chase Young now on that defensive line was something they did not have the last time these two teams played. So that should be interesting. And a healthy Brock Purdy should be, another factor in this.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Right,
I'm rooting for the 49ers, but I'm picking the Philly Eagles to win.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll eat a Philly cheesesteak while watching this game too, won't you?
Ooh, good idea.
And there you go. Now we know what Randy's doing at 4:00 on Sunday. All right,
I can't stop thinking about a Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, great. In a rematch of Super Bowl I, the Kansas City Chiefs will travel to Green Bay on Sunday Night Football to take on the Packers. Randy, who's going to win this game?
Well, it is a rematch of the first Super Bowl, and it's going to be a different result. I've got the Kansas City Chiefs walking all over the Green Bay Packers.
Yep, give me the Chiefs. Hate the Packers. I hope they lose by like 80.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Chiefs, and I'm picking the Chiefs. They're still a top 3 team in the league. And Green Bay, while they've done some nice things, I think Jordan Love, while I don't think he's the third coming of Bart Starr for the Packers, I think he's might be a little better than we thought. He's at least seeming comfortable in the role, so he might still be quite the foe for the Chiefs defense. But that Chiefs defense, I think they're going to walk all over that Packers offense. So give me the Red Sea, or whatever they call themselves. Red Kingdom. That's what they're called. All right, and finally, your Monday Night Football game this week. The Cincinnati Bengals will travel to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Aaron, who do you got?
Jaguars. I don't know why I was thinking so hard about it. No Joe Burrow, no chance for the Bengals.
Unfortunately, I'm right there with you. Unless this backup shows me otherwise, it's the Jags all day. And that team who's gunning for the playoffs again this year, and they look great doing it.
Top seed in the AFC.
Yeah. Well, they're up there right now.
Well, I agree with both of you. I'm taking Jacksonville in that game.
All right. And then on bye this week, as we look at how many sweeps we had, there will be 6 teams on bye: the Ravens, Bills, Bears, Raiders, Vikings, and Giants. And Dad, how many sweeps did we have out of the 13 games?
8 out of 13.
Should be interesting this week. A lot of decent games, but that Philly San Francisco game is the one I think everybody's going to be tuning in for. That should be a heck of a game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Randy will be there chowing down on a cheesesteak, I'm sure. You got a couple cheesesteak places you could go to for that.
Yeah, I know. Some good ones around town here.
Yes, there are. All right, boys. Anything else before we call it this week?
Glad to have Aaron
I don't
back.
know. Thank you.
Glad you had a good time over in Italy. Glad you made it there safe and back safe. And can't wait to hear more stories about all the food you ate over in Italy.
Yeah.
Yep, it was a good time. Like to formally thank Kyle for holding my seat down while I was gone. Yeah, I noticed you didn't use as many props when I was away, but that's neither here nor there. So.
Well, I wanted you to be here to see him.
We gave you the nice graphic while you were gone, too. I made sure to get you a nice little graphic.
I wonder how you got that photo on there, but...
Well, no worries about that. I got my ways.
Mm.
But, all right, Dad, why don't you wrap this baby up?
Okay. If you haven't done so already, please take a moment and like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification on our YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook, X, and Instagram, where the address is TWOF Kalamazoo. We have a weekly audio podcast called This Week in the World of Football, which is posted on Tuesdays and is available on all major podcast platforms, as well as Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. You can also find the full audio version of our podcast on YouTube. So please spread the word, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation.
Yep, and for those of you who stuck with the show this long today, we want to thank everybody for getting us to 600 YouTube subscribers this week.
Yes.
A heck of a milestone for us. And then we are about 60-ish watch hours away from crossing that threshold YouTube has for the first leg of monetization, whatever we have to apply for. So we didn't think we'd get this far. I mean, luckily for us, they knocked down the barrier from 1,000 to 500. So we crossed that threshold a while ago, but it's that watch hours. You got to get like 3,000 watch hours in. And you guys have been tuning in, and we appreciate it. It's been a heck of a ride this year.
Yes, it has. It's been a wild year for us. I mean, when we started the year, I think it was February, we just hit 200 subscribers, and now we've just gone over 600. So made a lot of trips and seen a lot of things this year in the world of football. So looking forward to next year as well. Like I said before, come back, Cringe. We miss you. Royce, congratulations on having one of the best weeks ever in these picking shows that we've been doing for the last few years. That's one of the best records I've seen ever. And congratulations. Keep up the good work, everybody, all of our guest pickers. We appreciate you and hope you're having fun doing this.
Yep, and Aaron and Kyle, thanks again for joining the list of programs we do on this YouTube channel. Riding the coattails of me and Randy. I mean, we're welcome to have you dragging behind us.
Hey, sometimes you need someone to carry along the good looks for the organization. So here I am.
Oh, there we go. Well, eventually we're going to need a marketing person, I think, and you got the degree, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Aaron, it's lonely here in Adam's shadow. So get used to it.
You said it, not me. All right, everybody. We appreciate y'all again. Please hit the like button, everything Randy said. All the stuff is in the description. And until next week, guys, good luck picking. Have fun watching some football this week between NFL and the college, conference championship games this weekend. So next week, we'll see you again.